Hello everybody, welcome to the weekly bump. Thank you so much for being here. As always, we have 3 piles. Pile 1, we're using Chrysocolla. Pile 2 is a Carnelian stone, and pile 3 is a Labradorite. So go ahead and take a moment, pause the camera if you have to feel intuitively drawn. Now, not everyone always feels connected to a pile, and that is perfectly fine. If you don't feel drawn, okay, you can always just randomly select a pile, and I always say there's an element of destiny involved with the message. Timestamps will be found in the description box in the comment thread down below for each pile, so you can quickly jump from one to the next. All right, see you in just a sec. Okay, pile number 1, you guys selected the Chrysocolla. Let's go ahead and see what you guys got. We start with, we start with Mercury Mind, okay? So now I'm actually really being drawn to the green because this is a very heart chakra energy color scheme. But we have Mercury Mind, so it tells me that there's a head-heart connection going on, which means you're not confused, okay? You're not confused about what you want. You're not confused about which direction you want to go. You're not even confused about what the things that you really want to say. It's just more a matter of the courage and the true wherewithal to really say them. Venus coming conjunct Pluto right now. She's at 23 degrees. Pluto is at 25 degrees in Capricorn. Plus, not only the moon is there today as well. There's deep emotion really coming forward. Subconscious yearnings, deep desires. And it's not desires of materialistic things this week, I don't think. I think this very much surpasses materialistic desires. This is more about desires to be who and what you know you are, about reaching potential, about working hard, about being the very essence of what you know to be. It's almost as though an expression of the desire to be truly limitless and fearless, which sometimes can be kind of a hard thing to really reconcile within yourself, because you're like, oh, well, I should be able to just make up my mind and just be like that. But it's very easy to say, well, you should just be like that versus actually being like that. And I think that this is a week where you can really work through the parts of yourself that have been, continually putting those boundaries in front of you, those boundaries and those barriers, and really keeping those things alive. Okay, so then we have the Emperor, we have the Empress, 10 of Wands. Well, I like the Emperor and the Empress coming out because it's a really strong indication of both masculine and feminine energy. There's the wherewithal to be truly surrendered and receptive. And then the Emperor brings out the ambition and that linear quality. So again, this is you being in a balanced state, able to receive and able to be even a little bit chaotic with the feminine and highly creative there as well. And then the Emperor, which is the application modality, right? You get to receive and brainstorm and create, and then we get to apply on the other end of that with the Emperor. The 10 of Wands is going to be, it's the energy of action, right? This is really, truly manifestation through action, I think, this week. Mars and Scorpio, Sagittarius energy, they are very action-oriented zodiac signs, all right? This is not Pisces season, which is highly surrendered, okay? This is like, let's put our money where our mouth is. Let's do the things that we say we want to do. Let's build the things that we say we want to build. And, if you say you want to be fearless, if you say you want to be truly free, I think the best way to do that is to prove that to yourself through the things that you do this week, through the way you spend your time, and through the way that you push your own limits, by doing the things that make you very uncomfortable, by doing the things that you are afraid to do, by staying up a little bit later than you normally do, or waking up earlier than you normally do. This is about you confronting the limitations now head on, and saying, I'm not going to let these things limit me anymore. Okay, we have this beautiful Queen of Wands, which is, of course, Aries energy. And of course, Aries, Mars ruled. We have a strong Mars. So Mars is also really coming out to play here. with the High Priestess and the Justice card. Now, what's beautiful about the Venus conjunct Pluto with her retrograde building and everything, what's so beautiful about that is the ability for things to come into equilibrium and balance. And if for whatever reason you were holding a particular value set that either you don't truly value, or if it was a value set that you simply inherited from your parents, from culture, from the world, whatever it is, this is a time where that gets stripped away and you get to decide whether or not you truly hold that value set or not. Is that thing really important to you? Is that achievement really important? Is that relationship really that important? And you get to come into truth with that from kind of an inspired place. Now remember, the High Priestess is kind of the gatekeeper of that veil, right? That veil of forgetfulness through which we pass when we incarnated here on this planet. She's the gatekeeper. And when she shows up, it tells me that she can lift that veil or, let you pass through for just a moment to collect more information. So there's often downloads that happen when the High Priestess is present. She comes out to say, hey, there are other realms besides what you perceive, and you can access those other realms at any time. You just have to inquire. Now, what's beautiful about having Mercury here is that Mercury is the one that can pass through the veil all day, every day. So kind of utilizing Mercury or your own mercurial energy, and understanding that you can send your consciousness into different realms. You can send your consciousness up, you can send it down within yourself, wherever it needs to go, and you can collect wisdom through that kind of, and we'll call it meditation, you can call it astral projection if you want, if that's kind of what you want to play there. But we'll call it just, opening of the mind in general. And I do see that happening, especially for those of you who are consciously meditating, not necessarily even for certain answers, but just to create a deeper level of openness or a deeper level of emptiness, if you will, for the sake of receiving. A new start is coming. See, and I know you can feel it. I think we can all feel it. Something weird is happening. Something weird is shifting. The world has just been completely turned over. Technology is evolving very quickly. Our healing processes are evolving very quickly. The world is just rapidly changing. And I think that you can feel that you too are also rapidly changing. Your boundaries are getting more defined. Your sense of self, your sense of self-worth, your sense of knowledge, all of it is just being solidified. And because of that, you have a very, very strong foundation upon which to build something else. What do you need to release? And I think that has a lot to do with the fear and the limitations. You need to release fear and limitations because you've been setting those things upon yourself for however long, many of you, your whole life. And it's time to be free from that. It's time to live as though you truly are embracing life. And I feel that there is this sense of relief coming through. And the thing is that Mercury here, he knows that. Your mind knows that. Your mind knows it. Your heart knows it. Your whole being knows it. And it's only the ego, it is only the fear that keeps these limitations propped up. And so now, recognition and reward, now is a time for you to step into the bounty of what your life experience has truly given you. I think in many ways your life experience is the reward in and of itself. Like where you are now is the reward in and of itself. And we also have this shadow card, right? Like you've done the work, you've been through the personal experience, and you've learned the lessons. And you actually are stepping into this place where you have genuine value to give to people. Like you have genuine stories that are going to help guide. You have genuine pieces of advice that are going to help people. And it's important for you to acknowledge that and to understand that it wasn't all just for your own sake. It was for you to help guide people forward behind you. Right? There are people ahead of you, there are people behind you, there are people all over. So as we progress, it is our moral duty as a part of this humanity to pull the people behind us forward. And I think that there is something, now the Mercury energy, there's also a quality of writing coming out, I feel. Like writing things down. So for those of you who are wanting to like write a book or something, now would be a really great time to really think about how you want to go about doing that, what stories you want to tell, and what lessons you want people to glean from from that. Vulnerability as a superpower. See, when you step into limitlessness, when you step into that true freedom, you actually are extremely vulnerable because you don't have all these walls of protection put up and you don't have all of these, safeguards. So you are vulnerable to all different types of consequences, all different types of events, all different types of people. Now you can be smart and utilize your wisdom to feel out people's energy and say, okay, well, that's not necessarily the best energy. I don't want to be around that. I wouldn't call that a negative boundary. I would call that a positive boundary rooted in experience, right? Rooted in self-knowledge more than anything. But still, like a new start is coming. Like you are moving into a whole new space in your life. And you are having to go through a set of challenges that you've never really been through before. And can feel weakening when in fact it is actually strengthening, shape-shifting. See, you are shifting, you are changing. Your whole form is changing. The way you look is even going to be changing, right? Because you're going to be glowing differently. Venus conjunct Pluto. There's going to be this whole thing of like, people are going to come like, have you been working out? Like, wow, you look so good. You're glowing. You look amazing. Are you pregnant? You've got that glow. You know what I mean? Like, and there is this quality of, it's maybe not as dramatic as like a science fiction movie or something, but there is a shape-shifting going on. There is this new light that is ignited within you, and people are going to take notice for sure. Scribe. Well, there you go, right? And I even green as well, all the green lining up here. The light attribute says preserving knowledge and information. So yeah, if you guys are wanting to write things down with Mercury energy, now is a really, really good time to start thinking seriously and taking action, 10 of Wands, in that regard. The more vulnerable you can be with your work, the more recognition and reward you will likely receive. Vulnerability is key, and sharing personal experiences, personal knowledge, personal wisdom is also key. And then we also have this stay the course card, which I love that because it tells me that you're already aware that you are moving in this direction. You already know that this evolution is taking place. All you have to do is keep going. This is the thing. I really don't see confusion right now. Like I said, head-heart alignment. I don't see people confused. I don't see people in a state of delusion, and I definitely don't see people like lost. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. And you know that, and I know that. And then we have this wolf spirit, turn knowledge into wisdom. See, you have the knowledge, and I actually think that the act of sharing, the act of vulnerability, the act of doing something, right? Emperor, the act of application, applying the knowledge is actually going to be what creates deeper levels of wisdom within you. So this is a good week, I think, to kind of reevaluate, right? With the Justice card, we get to reevaluate certain things, certain areas, certain relationships. We get to communicate what needs to be communicated, and then we get to power forward. It's a very straightforward. It's not a head scratcher kind of a week, you know. So like a lot can happen over the next several months based on the decisions that we make right now. Okay. All right, pile one. I'm going to leave you with that. Thank you so much. You guys know I love you. Have an amazing week, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care. All righty, pile number 2. You guys selected the Carnelian. All right, 7th house. Now, this could have to do with romantic relationships. I'll be totally honest, right? Because we do have Venus conjunct Pluto in Capricorn, which is Saturn ruled. So there's definitely like an institutional component with this, but it doesn't have to be. It could also be just how things are being mirrored back to you. And it's usually the people. Now, let's be clear. It doesn't mean that you are the same as the people around you. Not what it means. It just means that there is a lot of information that can be retrieved by objectively observing those around you, who they are, how they behave, and what it really says about you in terms of the fact that this is the company you keep, okay? And for some of you, that's great news because you're like, wow, like I surround myself with the most amazing people. And then others of you, it might be like, what does it say about me that I surround myself with people who, you know, are X, Y, or Z? What does it say about me? And I think this is a week that it's really okay to continually bring it back to yourself. Not in a selfish, narcissistic way, but like really, like, what does this say about me? What does this say about my life? What does this say about the direction that I'm going? And is this really the way I want to continue? And the more honest you can be with that discussion, the better. Okay. Oh, the devil. Well, we have the Saturn ruled Capricorn energy coming through for sure. So let me just tell you something, right? Saturn can go one of two ways. It can be a really great energy that if you apply yourself and you work hard and if you work through the lessons, you can achieve extraordinary things. And a lot of people come into deeper commitments and may come into deeper commitments at this time. And that's great. I don't see any real reason why not. If you already have an established relationship and it's been going strong. And, you know, I think that this is a great time for that. It could also go the other direction and create endings. Saturn does have a lot to do with death. I know we attribute all that to like Pluto and Scorpio type stuff, but Saturn also brings endings. He represents the actual harvesting of the crops. So you literally go out in the field and cut down the wheat, right? Cutting down the fields, it's the end of the season, right? So I feel that, you know, some of you are reaching endings while some of you are kind of beginning with new beginnings, and it could really go either way. We have a Knight of Wands, which is great because this is a really positive card. This is a Sagittarius energy. So there is that quality of leaping into deeper commitments. Now, these commitments could also be just completely self-generated as well, right? Because perhaps maybe there are people around you that make you want to be a better person. And maybe you're choosing to be around people that make you want to level up in your life, whether it's financially, whether it's in terms of your career, whether it's in terms of dating better people, like whatever it is. Hopefully that is the case, that you are around people that make you want to be the best that you know you are. And so you leap and bound, Knight of Wands, you jump right into things that many people might be afraid of, but you know that this is going to be something that is what you want because this is who you see yourself as. With a Wheel of Fortune to boot, okay? So, I mean, I see really, really positive developments for you guys, and commitments are actually the way to go. For those of you who have struggled with commitments recently or in the past several years, I think this is a time for you to kind of confront that within yourself and say, is it really the commitment that I'm afraid of, or is it really having to, like, be this other person, right? To draw upon these aspects that in the past I really would have preferred not to draw upon, to be dependent on, to be, someone that has to be there for somebody else. Maybe some of you are like really coming to that point. The wheel is turning over. Time itself is turning over. It's catching up to you. And all of the things that kept you in a certain state for so long are starting to really dissipate, and they're starting to not hold up very well anymore. We have a 9 of Wands. We have the Sun, and we have a King of Coins. Well, we like a King of Coins. There's a financial component there. A King of Coins with a Devil. There's a lot of materialism here. This is what I mean about really leveling up your life. And the Sun has a lot to do with creation. Creation and bringing value and bringing light and bringing joy into the world. Now, the 9 of Wands, it also has that caution. And so does the Devil as well. The Saturnian quality definitely exhibits caution. Maybe not caution is maybe not the right word. Maybe it's just conscience, right? Your consciousness, perhaps. Walking forward in a state of heightened awareness about who and what people are, and the guard that you have, right? Keeping guard. It's not necessarily to protect, I guess it is to protect yourself, but it's more to protect your future. It's not to keep you away from pain. It's not to keep you away from failure so much as it is to keep you away from negative energy that could rob you of where you're trying to go. Because I see that you have really strong aspirations for yourself with the King of Coins. And you should. We all should. We should have this desire to reach our potential to a certain extent. Whether it's materialistic potential, whether it's relationship potential, whether it's spirituality potential, I don't care what it is, but I feel like there is this desire to go deeper and deeper and deeper into some area of your life. And at this particular point in time, there is a required commitment in order to really do that. And that commitment means doing certain things. And this could be the time, maybe not this week, but in the weeks to come with the Venus-Pluto conjunction in Capricorn, where you come into that, okay, this is it. I'm going to do it. I'm really going to jump in. I'm going to go all in. You are good enough. Yeah, probably because to some extent, the reason why you had been pushing these things away in the past was because you felt not good enough to some degree. You felt like it wasn't meant for you. You felt like it wasn't, your destiny. And things are changing. You might start thinking, well, no, that's not necessarily true. I do deserve it. I am good enough. I can have it. And we have surrender, which is an indication of receiving. See, I feel like the universe is guiding you to this point of commitment here. Hold on, I'm sorry. I feel like I'm hearing something outside. But I feel like the universe is guiding you to this point of commitment because you have been so good at the surrender. You've been so good at the flow of life. You've been good at listening. And sometimes when you listen, it does say go for it. It does say work hard. It does say go all in. Because you do have something valuable and right to bring into the world. That's why there's so much optimism around this Devil here. There is this, it's a lot, but I'm going to do it. It's a big burden, but I'm going to do it. It's a heavy load, but I'm going to do it. And you do it with enthusiasm, and you do it with pride, and you do it with a sense of dignity and honor. Financial and material changes. Yeah. King of Coins for sure. And I even like the Knight of Wands for that too, because Jupiter has a lot to do with material indulgence. Okay, so it's not, definitely not anything to shy away from, materialism. It's why we're here. We're here to enjoy the things of this world, and we're here to be in our bodies, and we're here to enjoy life and all that life has to offer. I feel like this "you are good enough" is actually a part of this card, which says firm foundation. That like really coming into the full embrace of being good enough, that is something that is truly enabling you to build high. It's enabling you to reach high. And it's also enabling you to ask a lot from other people as well. Not in terms of what they do to you or for you, but in terms of the energy that they bring to the table. I think there's a high energy requirement now. It's getting higher. I feel like you can't really stand to be around people who are lower vibration. Like it's actually physically uncomfortable, physically repulsive. Because you've just elevated yourself so much without realizing that it wasn't actual elevation. It was actually groundedness. And it is with that groundedness and being truly rooted within yourself that you get to start building. And this is a very exciting time to start building. See, I mention this a lot. 2021 was a really change-oriented, transition-oriented, right? Change your energy, change your life, which was kind of the theme that kind of emerged at the beginning of the year. Change your energy, change your life kind of year. And the changes then need to go through a period of adjustment, which is going to be next year, 2022. And then once we have that adjustment, then that's when the building really, really starts to take hold. And I feel that there's just really exciting things in the future because you are truly coming into this point of absolute creation and self-expression. There we go. Creation. Beautiful. With the sun, I mean, you are creating something, a legacy. You're creating a world. You're creating whatever. It will make a difference. It will make a difference for you, and it will make a difference for other people. I almost feel like this "you are good enough" applies to the creation. Like you are good enough to put your creations in the world. You are good enough to be seen. You are good enough to be recognized and appreciated and valued. You are good enough to be heard. You're good enough to teach. You're good enough to contribute. Sometimes I think we invalidate our lives so much because we just say, oh, well, everyone goes through that, or it's not really that special. What makes it special is your willingness to share. Because sharing and storytelling is always teaching, and teaching is always contributing. Instinct. Yeah, sharp instincts, wolf energy, super sharp instincts. With the mirror, with what's happening out there in the world. I feel like your little spidey senses are just super on point, right? With the red, the instinctual root chakra energy. Like, look, guys, if something feels off, if something feels right, chances are your initial judgment is exactly right. Now, you can allow things to prove themselves otherwise, but I would take your first judgment somewhat seriously to some extent, because people can't hide energetically, right? They can hide with their words, they can hide with their personalities, with their coping mechanisms and all that, but they can't hide with their energy. Child. And I love that with the Leo Sun card and the Creation card. A lot of Leo energy coming out right now, even though we don't have any planets in Leo per se. But, we do have Saturn and Jupiter and Aquarius aspecting Leo, if we want to count that, plus Uranus and Mars aspecting Leo as well. Now this says, independence based on learning to go it alone, conquering fear of surviving. Now this may have, right, partnerships, one-on-one connections, the mirror. Maybe some of you are being asked to go it alone for a little while. Or those of you who are in established and healthy relationships, you are being asked to take accountability for yourself a little bit more right now. There is a self-sufficiency coming out, especially with Uranus and Taurus. All right. A lot of the Scorpio energy it's past now, but with the kind of the full moon eclipse in Taurus and all the heavy Scorpio placements and transits that we just went through, there was an emphasis on self-reliance, even if you're in a relationship, and removing yourself from codependent situations, removing yourself from anything where you allowed someone else to have a little too much power. Okay, now we have play more. And I love that with creation and the sun and the surrender to the divine. I mean, it is supposed to be fun. And I think your life is going to get more fun the more and more you allow your true intuition and your true instincts to really guide you, which it sounds like you are, because this surrender to the divine card is something that I don't think is just showing up this week. I think this is a mirror of what has been going on. You have been surrendered. The surrender has taken you this far, and it will continue to take you to where you need to go. And your continued playful attitude is what is going to make this enjoyable. And then we have the wombat spirit, be at home. Now, home, and I think that has a lot to do with the foundation card here as well. It could mean your actual house, your actual home, because remember, all the Capricorn stuff is aspecting Cancer. So there is a home and family component. But there's also the essence of being at home within yourself. And that's what really grounds you. That is what it's weird to be grounded but elevated, right? But being so self-contained, being so rooted within yourself is what enables you to transcend all the BS in life. Okay, and I feel like there is that quality coming out here as well. So I think it'll be a good week for you. It's just a matter of choosing the playfulness, right? It's a matter of choosing the joy. It's a matter of choosing creation and to take these commitments seriously and the promises that you've made, not only to others, but especially to yourself. Okay? All right, pile two. I'm going to leave you with that. Thank you so much. You guys know I love you. I wish you nothing but the best. Have an amazing week. Take care. Bye-bye. All righty, pile number 3. You guys selected the Labradorite. And we start with Venus, which is not a surprise because she is coming into her conjunction with Pluto this week, which is really neither here nor there. But really what it is that she's building up to a retrograde, which is going conjunct Pluto 3 different times. So this is her first conjunction for her retrograde period. Okay, so things are coming into alignment here. Things are changing. We are changing. The things we need are changing. The desires that we have in terms of our contribution to humanity, right? Being in Capricorn, that's changing. Consideration of life purpose and integrating our talents and our passions, all of that is really on the docket right now. And I'm just going to tell you one thing, right? Like if you have a change in what you need from your romantic partners, please communicate that. This is not a time to expect anyone to just guess what you're thinking. Okay. No one is a mind reader. You have to tell people what you need. You have to tell people how you're changing. Even if all you do is say, hey, I'm changing right now, right? If that's all that's happening, that's fine. But you need to keep people aware of what's going on. Venus can be a very unpredictable energy sometimes. One minute she may want one thing and the next she may want another thing, and that's fine. This is just kind of the Venusian energy channeled through your body and really guiding you toward new life experiences. It's not about ego. It's not about validation. It's not about, being someone that other people told you had to be. This is about you exploring your body, exploring your desire, exploring life, and enjoying it. Plain and simple. Hanged Man. Six of Coins, Two of Wands, Eight of Coins, Nine of Swords, and the Star. This Eight of Coins, I don't feel is like really hard labor. It feels like passion next to Venus. Feels like this is what you love to do. It feels like something is being channeled through you. And look, this Nine of Swords comes through a denial of what is wanting to come through you. Like when you are fighting what you want, like I can't tell you how many people they want something and then they don't want to want it, right? Like they don't allow themselves to want it because it's not whatever societally acceptable or whatever. Like this is not a time to shut yourself down by saying, well, it's not realistic to want that. It's not realistic, or it's not, like that's ridiculous in today's day and age, knowing that literally anything is, like practically anything that you want has probably already been experienced by another person and therefore is completely available for you to experience as well. And anything that you ask for, like don't take anything off the table for yourself, because this Star is saying like, remember how expansive the universe is. Remember how big things are, how abundant, how infinite it is. And it's not just infinite in terms of space, it is infinite in terms of consciousness as well. And there is no such thing as impossible. And this Two of Wands is very vision oriented. And what I'm seeing is a clutching onto a seemingly unrealistic or impossible vision, and your heart accepting it as a reality, accepting it as an inevitability, actually. And I see, because you've accepted this big dream as an inevitability, the divine life force here, the light within that third eye chakra, right? He's got that crown around his head. It's illuminating. And that star almost looks like this star here, that they are one and of the same. Maybe what we're doing when we're looking out in the cosmos is just seeing a whole bunch of points of consciousness, right? Which exists right in our own heads as well, and within our own souls. We're just looking at ourselves when we look at the night sky. And there's this quality of this life force channeling its way through you here, Eight of Coins. Now is not a time to be even remotely negative or realistic, honestly. You'll see how things have a way of balancing themselves out, Six of Coins. This is a very good exercise in frequency adjustment, right? Consciously adjusting your frequency. I think a lot of people, there's a lot of meditations out there, a lot of people who do YouTube videos about it. It's so different to have someone tell you what to do and you even doing those things. It's so different to actually understand how it's done. And I feel like this is a process here over the next few months where you are going to genuinely understand how to adjust your frequency to a specific reality or a specific timeline. You're going to realize it's not that hard, but one of the first things you have to do is admit that you want what you really want. And you don't have to tell people about it, And in fact, I think if you do, Nine of Swords will be stressed. It will add on to, because people are going to be like, that's ridiculous. So a lot of you are going to keep things very private. I'm seeing this Venus energy switch on me a little bit. At first, it was like very relationship oriented, but now with these cards, I'm kind of feeling like this is the Venus energy that really wants to experience the luxurious extremes of this world. Like, she really wants like the money, she wants the beauty, she wants the love and the sex and the amazing food and all the Taurus and Libra things. Like, she wants all of those. She wants to put her hands on those things. She wants to feel them. She wants to love them. Sometimes I think in the spiritual community, there is such a denial of materialism. And I think this is where sometimes the yogis kind of steer us wrong a little bit, because you can experience worldly things without becoming attached to them and without becoming, without creating karma. Whereas I think a lot of the yogis in full denial of the worldly things. Maybe that's why I like Osho and I like how controversial he is, because he just made no qualms about enjoying his 50 Rolls Royces or whatever. He just was like, yeah, so I got 50 Rolls Royces. Who cares? I got 20 Rolexes. I got $1 million watch. So? But it didn't take away from his powerful messages. You know what I'm saying? I feel like there's an interesting integration here with spirituality and materialism. And maybe that's really what the Six of Coins is really all about. And you kind of coming to terms with that, because maybe in the past, your spiritual path took you into this place of wanting to deny so many parts of yourself, wanting to deny the parts of you that wanted material, that, even to deny the ego is kind of a ridiculous notion as well. Unless that's just my own lack of understanding, I don't know. But I feel like this comes from a denial of things. More scales. Wow. Scales here here with Venus, and scales here. A win-win outcome is forecast. Take time to breathe out. I feel like there's time here to just accept that certain good things that you're hoping to experience in this life are inevitable. That you will have them. You will enjoy them. You will experience them, and there is no need to grasp. There is no need for you to necessarily do a bunch of things. Remember, this Eight of Coins is not, this is when the life force channels through you, this is a labor of passion, a labor of love, a labor of excitement. This is what you do when you feel truly connected with just who and what you are. And this doesn't necessarily have to get any results. I feel like this right here, this Eight of Coins, is the frequency that is actually very relaxed. And this is probably an outlet for you energetically. There's going to be kind of this magnetism that comes through the Eight of Coins. So the more and more you are doing the things that you love, that bring you excitement, the more and more likely these materialistic things will show up for you. Light and intuition. Beautiful. Now this is like a sun card. Okay, so we have a star, we have the sun, which basically they are kind of, the sun is a star, so to speak. So I do sense that you are coming into some kind of light within yourself, and some kind of illumination. Remember the star behind the Hanged Man's head here, of oh wow, this is how it works. So your intuition is guiding you through this process. There's no work involved here. That's what's so crazy. There is no actual work. This is just an awakening. It is just an unlayering. When you work to understand this, you are putting tension in, and that's Nine of Swords. When you tell yourself, I need to understand this, I need to work hard at this, I need to do X, Y, and Z, boom, there you have your Nine of Swords, and boom, there you are placing a wedge between where you are and where you want to be. But see, when you're relaxed, when you're in this Eight of Coins, you realize that there is no difference between where you are and where you want to be. You are on that timeline. That's why it's inevitable. I feel so much relaxation for you, potentially this week. I really, really do. Submerged and veiled. Yeah, the veiled comes from the Nine of Swords, because we perceive things are fuzzy and hazy. We perceive that we can't see where something is going. And yet intuitively, I think if you were to check in with yourself for like 5 seconds, you'd be like, no, I know exactly where this is going. I know exactly, you might not know, all the right people or all the exact circumstances of where something is going, but you know that the vision is what's driving everything, and therefore you will have that opportunity to experience that vision. There's a lot more than what appears. There's a lot more happening, right? Submerged. I often see like the iceberg quality where there's so much happening below the surface. There's so much happening in the metaphysical, in the unseen realm. This is the tip of the iceberg, but the tip of the iceberg is still a part of the iceberg. It's all the same big chunk of ice, isn't it? Right? It's all the same form. This is what people see. But the metaphysical component is so huge, right? And so this is why this is important, because this is what is going to connect you. This is what is going to attach you energetically to your Venusian dreams. Hedonist. This is so Taurus, right? Venus, Taurus. I can't even deal with it. Light attributes. Inspires creative energy to embrace the good things in life. Celebrates the beauty in yourself. This is a Venus week, guys. It's a Venus year, to be honest, 2022. It's a whole year. I really would pay attention to the Venusian themes in your life. Pay attention to how you are enjoying the materialistic realm, how you are enjoying beauty, how you feel beautiful, how you express and receive love, right? Maybe that's a part of going back to the initial conversation about Venus. Maybe she really she's coming into her own and her needs are evolving. And this is a time where she can really say like, no, I need a partner who is X, Y, and Z. And I need someone who is like this. And I need someone who can, and it's not superficial type of stuff. But she's more aware of herself now than she ever has been, and is therefore much more empowered. Daddy issues. Okay, well, that makes sense given the fact that this Pluto-Venus thing is happening in Capricorn. Lot of parent or parental or institutional stuff coming through. I feel like there may have been, now this will not apply for all of you. I know not all of you had, absent fathers or whatever, but for those of you who had physically absent or emotionally unavailable fathers or abusive fathers or whatever it is, for those of you who had those kinds of situations, this is a time for you to rise above those. This is a time for you to acknowledge the patterning that has happened in your life because of that, and tell yourself that you don't want it anymore. Because Venus doesn't want emotionally unavailable, right? She wants deep tantric connection. She wants sensuality. She wants closeness. She wants love and adoration. She wants celebration. She wants indulgence. She wants beauty, and she wants true love. Even the dog spirit, be loyal to what you love. Mostly that's being loyal to yourself. Being loyal to your soul. Loyal to your intuition and what you know to be true, your own light. The world has done you a huge disservice by teaching you the things that it has taught you. And now is a time to unlearn and to relearn in grand ways. And Pluto is offering us that opportunity to tear ourselves down and rebuild ourselves bigger and better than we ever thought possible. So there are really, really cool things emerging because of this transit, but it does require deep self-awareness. People who don't have self-awareness are going to get pushed around a lot with this transit. Okay? But it's a good week. And I'm going to leave you guys with that. All right? Thank you so much. You guys know I love you. I wish you nothing but the best. Have a great week. Bye-bye.